Hi everybody, Alan Dalzell here from Pipe9. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how SkillMe actually guides you through your skills development journey and the role that you perform within your company. I'm going to introduce you to the concept of completing perspectives and using your perspectives to help you prioritize the skills that you're going to focus on through the next period, perhaps through the next quarter, for example, or perhaps from your next connect discussion with your manager, that learn and grow discussion you have with your manager, the next one that's on the horizon, through to the following one. Perhaps that becomes your period for skilling. So I'm going to show you how SkillMe helps guide you through your skill development journey. And it's really simple. If I just share my desktop here, I'm just going to go into SkillMe. Let's get it up into the screen here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the top left-hand menu. You can see I have sales leader here, which is the profile I'm on, and using the sales leader profile, I can see my skills board. I'm currently on my skills board, perspectives and reports. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into perspectives. I'm going to go into perspectives. Now, when I first come into perspectives, my view is going to look a little bit like this. It's going to look a little bit like this. All of my skill tiles are going to be vanilla. It's what I call the vanilla view. They're all white. And that's because I haven't done anything with my skills yet. My skills board is not going to enable my skill development journey because I haven't activated my skills board yet. So the first thing that we do is we activate our skills board. And the way that we activate it is in perspectives. And it works like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my perspectives here. And it looks like SkillMe is just refreshing here for a second. I'm just going to. Go into perspectives here, like this. Click on perspectives, go into perspectives. And I'm going to click on the first skill. And when I click on the first skill, what happens is that SkillMe enables me to answer what we believe to be the three most important questions that really help guide you in terms of where you are in your journey towards mastering these skills on your skills board. And these three questions are, how important is this skill to me based upon what I know that I've got, going on in my role through this next period, this next quarter, or from this connect discussion that's coming out with my manager through to the following connect discussion. How important is this skill going to be to me in this period? What's my level of frequency of executing this skill? Am I always executing the practices, the processes, the methods that sit behind, mastering this skill? And we generally know what these things are. And the question is, do I always execute them? Do I have that disciplined approach to execution associated with the methods, the process, the practice that I know that I should be executing? And the third question is, what is my proficiency level? Am I someone who's mastered the knowledge associated with the skill? Am I accredited? Am I certified? Do people reach out to me and ask me to model the skill for them? So I go through the process of completing these three questions. So I'm going to say for this skill, how important is it? And I'm going to say developing a sales strategy. Think about that for a sales leader. I think this is absolutely critical. I'm going to say my level of frequency associated with executing the methods, the practices associated with building a great sales strategy. You know what? I think I often execute those methods, those practices. Maybe I don't always do it though. I haven't reached that level of always, executing those practices, those methods. And my proficiency level, I think I'm at the intermediate level. I might just think about that. I actually think, I'm really at the foundational level. I'm just really starting out. I'm really just starting out in terms of, my knowledge of some of these methods, these practices. So the importance, critical, frequency, often, but I think my proficiency level is at the foundational level. And then I click to the next skill. I should go to the next skill. And for this next skill, I would go through the same process. Industry and customer growth, I would say this is important. My frequency is I'm just sometimes executing these methods, these practices. My proficiency level, I'm just at the foundation level again with this particular skill, and so on and so forth. I'm moving through the completion of my perspective of each one of these, for each one of these skills. Now, when I do that, and I come back to my skills board is going to look a little bit like this. I'll have completed my perspective for each one of these skills that makes up my skills profile. And here it is. And colors, based upon your perspective, colors tell you the story of where you are in your journey towards mastering these skills. Because red skills, based upon your perspective, red skills are skills that through this next time period, you should stop investing any of your time in. These are red skills. Amber skills are the new skills, the skills that are emerging in terms of their importance. They will become more important to you through this next period. So you should invest some of your skilling time with amber skills. Willingness to learn new things is a tenet of developing a growth mindset. So these are the new skills that we should be willing to learn and invest some of our valuable skilling time in. Green skills, however, are the most important skills because the gap, the proficiency, the frequency gap between where we are, the levels that we've reached, versus mastering these skills is at its greatest. The gap is at its greatest with green skills. And so green skills are the skills that we should really be focusing most of our time on, most of our skilling time on. Violet skills are skills that we're close to mastering. Based upon our perspective, we're really close. It's that final push, that final sprint to the finish line, get to that next level up, the highest level in terms of frequency and proficiency, and we've mastered the skill. And when we master a skill in the Skill Me application, we go what we refer to as purple with that skill because we've mastered it. We're doing our best work around this skill. We've mastered the skill, and something really, really important happens at that moment because we are now ready, when we've mastered the skill in the Skill Me application, to model this skill for others, for other members of our community. And what happens in the application is we bring people together. We make these important mentor-mentee connections. We bring together purple with green, purple and amber. We make these connections. And we know if we make these connections at scale, we know that we can accelerate the development of the skill of the community as a whole. And we know if we can do that, then we can have a big impact upon the performance of the business. And this is why we do this work. Now, there's another reason why we do this, another important reason why we do this. Because it's my experience that one of the hardest things for employees to do around skill development is to prioritize their skill development. What are the things that I should really focus on through the next period? Let me get very focused, because people have limited time that they can spend on skill development because they're always so busy. So we want to make sure that we do as good a job as we can at prioritizing our skill development. So what we can do here, once we've completed our perspectives and the colors start to guide us, right? We can pick up these green skills, look, and we can drag these green skills across, and we can put these green skills look into our priorities column. And so we're now setting and taking ownership for our skill development priorities through this next period, which is an important tenet of developing a growth mindset. This is exactly what we're doing. Moving these skills across that we're going to prioritize through the next period. 2 green ones, green are the most important. I'm also going to move a amber skill across. I am willing to learn something new, and this is the skill that I'm going to focus on developing that's going to be new to me. And there's also one skill here that I know I'm close to mastering that I'm going to move across, and I'm going to put into my priorities column. So now what we've done is that we've prioritized. So we've used the basis of our perspectives. We've used this baseline that we've developed by completing our perspectives to help us prioritize the skills that we're going to focus on through this next period. Now, at the very same time that we're doing this as team members, as employees, I'm just going to switch gears here for a second, because at the very same time that we're doing this, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the manager view. The manager view, and you might say to yourself, well, hang on, Alan, this just looks exactly the same as the view you were just seeing, and it is, it's very, very similar, but this is the manager's view of their team. And if I go ahead here and refresh the manager's view, I'm going to refresh the manager's view. You can see the manager has the ability to filter on all of their team members here. I'm going to filter on all their team members. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh the manager view. And when I refresh the manager view, you'll notice something really, really important happens. Really, really important happens. So I'm just going to refresh the view here. And we're just going to set this up. I'm going to make sure that I'm choosing Mason, because Mason was the team member who I was just showing. I was just showing you Mason's skills board here, and I'm just going to expand that view so I can see the skills board. The manager's view of Mason's skills board. And you can see that those 4 skills that Mason was prioritizing for himself, we moved across into Mason's priorities column previously. The manager now gets to see Mason's priorities. And the manager has also completed, their view, their perspective of the work that they think that Mason's been doing against each one of these skills. And so they can now see their perspective, and they can also see the skills that Mason is prioritizing for the next period. And they might take a look at those skills and they might say to themselves, you know what, I think these skills are about right for Mason, but I also think there's an additional skill here that I would move across. And I would suggest as an additional priority for Mason through this next period. And when the team leader or the manager moves those skills across in their view, they can see the little notation gets added to that skill. It says suggested by you. Suggested by who? Suggested by the team leader or the manager for Mason. So when I now come back into Mason's view, I'm now going to toggle back into Mason's view here. And I'm going to refresh Mason's view of Mason's skill priorities. You'll notice that Mason's skills priorities are now made up of the skills that Mason has suggested for himself to focus on through this next period as a result of his perspectives that he completed. And also an additional skill has been added to the list that's been suggested by Jack, Mason's manager. And so now both Mason and Mason's manager, Jack, have both been involved in the development of the skill priorities that they are setting together for Mason to focus on through the next period. And we can be doing this anywhere. We don't have to be sitting, round this conference room table anymore. We can do this completely remotely. We can be doing this at any time in using SkillMe app in Microsoft Teams. But really what we're doing here, I think, is something even more important than just selling and taking ownership for skill development priorities. What we're doing together between Mason and Jack, Mason and his manager, team leader, is that we're actually setting ourselves up to have the most effective connect conversation that we can. Remember this connect conversation I was talking about, where we really, between the manager or the team leader and their team members, their employees, they come together and they really spend a little bit of time talking about the learn and grow plan, the skill development plan for this employee. And they do this probably once a year, maybe twice, 3 or 4 times a year. I refer to this as the connect, that connect discussion around skill development. What we're doing here is we're setting ourselves up to have the most effective skill development discussion, because what we've done is we've established the what. We've established the what. What are we going to focus on through this next period of time? What is Mason going to focus on in terms of skill development through this next period of time? We're completely aligned around that. When we come into the connect, we're not going to spend any time in that discussion talking about the what, because we've already set it up right here. We're already prepared now to focus not on the what, but on the how. The how are you going to accelerate this skill development around these priorities? How are we going to do that? And that's really the most valuable part of that discussion, right? What are the things we're going to do to really accelerate these skills that we're prioritizing? That's going to be the focus for that connect discussion, and we've set everything up so that it can be. So through this video, what I've done is I've introduced you to how SkillMe actually starts to help team members, help employees to complete their perspectives against the skills that drive success in the role. Based upon their perspectives, they can then prioritize the skills, move their skills across. Managers can participate in the process. They can complete their perspectives, their view of the work they think each one of the team is doing in one of these skills. And managers can be part of the prioritization process. And the outcome of this is that it sets you up to have the most effective connect conversation, most effective one-on-one development conversation between manager and team members that we can possibly have. In the next video, what I'm going to do is now focus on the next step, which is how do we accelerate our development? I'm going to show you how SkillMe actually helps to accelerate skill development around those skills that we prioritize that are going to be most important for next period. So thanks for watching, and please look out for that next video focusing on how SkillMe helps with skill development.